Warning: the following content may contain elements that are not suitable for some audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey creepy, yeah, that's my style. Creepy crawlers, Kimiko's vibe. We laugh at the dark, find joy in the fears. In a world full of noise, I'm the one you hear. In a smoky room, filled with gloom. Hell is here, podcast doom.
Hello, all you creepy crawlers, and welcome back to another episode of the Blowing Smoke podcast with Kimiko Kusanagi. Today, we're opening a puzzle box of pain and pleasure. That's right, we're diving into Clive Barker's Hellraiser franchise, the iconic horror series that equal parts grotesque, seductive, and philosophical. But we're not stopping there. We're going to weave in how Hellraiser's themes of sadomasochism resonate with modern BDSM culture, and how its gritty otherworldly vibes sync up with the raw energy of industrial music. So light up and listen in. Let's tear our souls apart, because we have such sights to show you. Before we dive in, little disclaimer here. BDSM and sadomasochism are not things that I participate in, but we're going to talk about them, okay? So just to let you know, I don't need everybody in the comments section asking me some weird whip and chain related questions when I really don't have answers for that. So if you're digging the show, drop us a review. It's like an offering, a sacrifice to the Cenobites. Keep the podcast gods happy, alright? And let's solve this puzzle box. So, the Hellraiser franchise. Let's start with Hellraiser, obviously, itself. If you haven't seen these films, buckle up because we're in for a wild ride. It was created by Clive Barker and based on his 1986 novella, The Hellbound Heart. The first Hellraiser movie dropped in 1987 and introduced us to the Cenobites, those leather-clad, mutilated demons led by the iconic Pinhead played by Doug Bradley in the original series. The story revolves around the Lament configuration, a puzzle box that, when solved, summons these beings who blur the line between pain and pleasure. It's not just horror, it's cosmic, psychological, and deeply sensual. The franchise spans 11 films as of 2025, and let's be real, quality varies wildly. The first two Hellraiser the first two, so Hellraiser and then Hellbound, Hellraiser 2, are stone cold classics. They're gory, sure, and they're also about desire, betrayal, and the human condition. The original follows Frank Cotton, a hedonist who opens the box seeking ultimate pleasure, only to get torn apart by chains. His lover, Julia, played by the phenomenal Claire Higgins, becomes this complex villain who kills to bring him back. It's messy, it's sexy, it's disturbing. Hellbound doubles down, taking us into the labyrinth, the Cenobites' hellish dimension. After that, things get a little dicey. Hellraiser 3, Hell on Earth, tried to make Pinhead a Freddy Krueger-style quipster, and by the time we hit Hellraiser Bloodline in 1996, we're in space. Yeah, space. Jeez. The later sequels, Inferno, Hellseeker, Deader, they feel like they were just kind of slapped out of Hellraiser's name and unrelated scripts just to keep the rights, basically. Then came the 2022 reboot, directed by David Bruckner, which I'll dig into later. It's a fresh take, with Jamie Clayton as the new Pinhead. Sorry, the priest. And a focus on addiction. It's diversive and, it's got guts. And Rotten Tomatoes give it a 67% with praise for its production values, but criticism for pacing and character depth. What makes Hellraiser stand out is its vibe. It's not just about jump scares. It's about desire and a force of destruction. Barker, who's openly gay, infused the story with themes from his experiences in 1970s New York BDSM clubs. The Cenobites aren't just monsters, they're explorers in the further regions of experience, as Pinhead says. They're not evil in a traditional sense, they're neutral, delivering what you asked for, just not how you expected. I love how Barker doesn't shy away from the body. Blood, skin, chains, it's visceral. The special effects, especially in the first two films, hold up. Those practical effects. Chef's kiss. Mwah! The Cenobite's design, mangled flesh, leather, pins, are pure art. And the puzzle box itself, it's like a steampunk Rubik's Cube from hell. The franchise's influence is huge. Horror, fashion, even music videos owe it a debt. But let's talk numbers for a sec. The original Hellraiser was made on a shoestring budget of about $1 million, but grossed nearly $15 million. It's a cult hit that spawned comics, merch, and even a new 4K box set from Arrow Films in 2023, The Quartet of Torment, which includes a work print of Bloodline. Fans are still obsessed, and I get it. There's nothing else like it. Now, alright, before we get to the BDSM, let's take a quick break, and when we're back, we'll explore Hellraiser's sadomasochistic themes and how they tie into modern BDSM culture. Spoiler, it's more than just leather and chains, yo.
Hey, buy my merch. It's more than just a seed. It's a piece of my heart. It's a part of me. From cuts and leaves, every stitch tells a tale. Now I have to merch to come and see and merch for sale. Hey, buy my merch. Buy my merch. Hey, buy my merch. Buy my merch. Hey, buy my merch. It's more than just a tee. It's a piece of my heart. It's up on me. From cups to hoodie, never teach nothing tale. Now I got some merch, never too much of style. Buy my merch. Hey, buy my merch. Hey, buy my merch. Hey, buy my merch.
Okay, and welcome back. Now let's get into the juicy stuff. Hellraiser and BDSM. If you've seen the films, you know that the Cenobites aesthetic screams kink. Leather, chains, piercings, and a whole lot of pain mixed with pleasure. But how does this connect to modern BDSM culture? Spoiler, it's complicated, but oh so fascinating. First, a quick primer. BDSM, bondage, discipline, dominance, and submission, sadism and masochism is about consensual exploration of power, dynamic sensation, and sometimes pain. It's not about abuse. It's about trust, communication, and boundaries. Hellraiser, though, takes this to a cosmic extreme. The Cenobites don't exactly ask for a safe word. They're what happens when desire goes unchecked. When you chase the ultimate high and end up in a dimension of eternal torment. Honestly, it's also, they're kind of like a fuck around and find out kind of deal. Barker's inspiration came from the 1970s underground BDSM scene in New York, where he saw raw, unfiltered expressions of sexuality and power. That's why the first film feels so authentic. It's not just horror, it's personal. In modern BDSM, the aesthetic of Hellraiser is still a vibe. Leather, harnesses, fishnets, and piercings are staples at kink events, and you'll see Cenobite-inspired looks at fetish balls or even cosplay conventions. But the community's evolved. Today's BDSM emphasizes consent and aftercare, things the Cenobites would probably laugh at. There's a big focus on education, with workshops on everything from rope bondage to psychological play. Apps like FetLife connects millions globally, and events like Folsom Street Fair in San Francisco draw huge crowds. It's mainstream in a way Barker couldn't have imagined in the 80s. Still, Hellraiser resonates because it explores the shadow side of desire. Characters like Frank and Julia aren't just kinky. They're obsessive, willing to destroy everything for their fix. The 2022 reboot leans into this with Riley, a recovering addict who gets tangled with a puzzle box. Critics noted how it uses addiction as a metaphor for chasing extremes, which mirrors BDSM's exploration of limits, but without the consent part. One Reddit user put it perfectly. It's not hands that call us, it's desire. That's the core of both Hellraiser and BDSM. Desire drives you. But in BDSM, you're supposed to keep it in check. The reboot also stirred up talk about representation. So Jamie Clayton, a trans actress, plays Pinhead, and the film leans into the queer roots of Barker's work. BDSM has always had a strong queer presence, and the communities embraced the reboot for reflecting that. And some fans argue it sanitizes the raw, gritty edge of the original, making it feel more like a morality tale about addiction than a dive into the unbridled desire. I would like to make note right here that the original Hellraiser, they were both male and female Cenobites, and then in the reboot, all the Cenobites are female, except for when they make the doctor at the end. But for the most part, they're all female. Or what we assume is female. Not really sure. One thing I find fascinating is how Hellraiser challenges us to think about pain. In BDSM, pain can be a tool for connection or transcendence. In Hellraiser, it's a gateway to something else entirely. Maybe enlightenment, maybe damnation. The Cenobites call themselves angels to some, demons to others. That duality is so BDSM coded. What's torture to one person might be ecstasy to another. Now, before we move into music, I gotta say, watching Hellraiser as a kid scared the hell out of me. But it also made me curious about why people chase extremes. If you're into the BDSM community, you enlighten me a little bit. Leave a message. Does Hellraiser capture your vibe? Or is it too out there for you? Well, let's go ahead and shift gears now to industrial music. The perfect soundtrack for the franchise's dark heart. We're roughly about halfway through, and I'm having way too much fun dissecting Hellraiser. If you're enjoying this, like, share, and subscribe for the next episode. Got a friend who's into horror, kink, or just weird vibes? Throw them a link. So, now we're diving into how Hellraiser connects to industrial music, the genre that feels like it was born in the Cenobites' labyrinth. Industrial music, for the uninitiated, is raw, abrasive, and often unsettling. Think pounding rhythms, distorted vocals, and a whole lot of attitude. Bands like Nine Inch Nails, Rammstein, and Ministry are poster kids. But it goes way back further than that, to the 70s, and acts like Throbbing Gristle and Cabernet Voltaire. Hellraiser's aesthetic screams industrial. The original film score by Christopher Young is orchestral, but it's dark, droning tones set a mood that industrial bands would eat up. The 2002 reboot with Ben Levette's score leans harder into electronic and ambient sounds, closer to modern industrial. Listen to it on Spotify and you'll hear echoes of Trent Reznor's work on The Downward Spiral. Industrial music and Hellraiser share DNA. Both are about pushing boundaries, confronting taboos, and embracing the uncomfortable. Industrial often explores themes of control, dehumanization, and rebellion. Sound familiar? The Cenobites could be the mascots for any industrial concert, with their leather chains and provocative energy. It's a whole shtick. So, like, for instance, more mainstream-wise, Rammstein's provocative lyrics, elaborate live shows with fire and bondage imagery feels like it could be a Cenobite performance art piece. Their song Sonne or Mein Teil could easily score Hellraiser scenes in movies. The genre roots in the 70s, punk and avant-garde scenes align with Barker's influences. He was hanging out in those gritty, experimental spaces, and you can feel that in Hellraiser's rawness. Bands like Coil, who did a cover of Tainted Love, that's basically a funeral dirge, were directly inspired by Barker's work. Coil even recorded a rejected score for Hellraiser Hellbound 2, which you can find online. It's haunting, mechanical, and perfect for the labyrinth. Modern industrial keeps this spirit alive. Artists like Marilyn Manson, who's basically a walking Hellraiser reference, use shock and grotesque imagery to provoke Manson's Antichrist superstar era with its biomechanical aesthetic. Feels like it was just ripped out of a Cenobite's wardrobe. Even newer acts, like Author and Punisher, who builds his own instruments to create this punishing industrial drone, carry that Hellraiser vibe of pain as art. What's cool is how industrial music like BDSM is about agency. It's not just noise. It's a deliberate choice to confront the listener with something that's raw and real. Hellraiser does that visually, making you squirm, but also think. Both ask, what is your limit? What's your desire? And that's why there's such a perfect match. That's it for me, and I hope that you enjoyed this episode. Like, share, and subscribe for more, and you stay creepy, like Kimiko Kusanagi. And don't be playing with that lament configuration, alright? Bye!